Hello, my dear Virgo. This is your love and spirituality reading for the time between March 1st and March 15, 2018, with me, Queen of Cups Tarot. So I have put astrological information for the month of March in a video of its own that you can check out in my playlist Q&A. You can also find it at my webpage www.queenofcupstarot.se, where you can also see and buy all the decks I'm using in this video. So I used the Modern Spellcaster's Tarot by Melanie Marquise and illustrated by Scott Murphy, and I will start shuffling your cards. So when I open your deck here, I see the Knight of Cups and the Devil. So Charmer Devil there. My dear Virgo, Knight of Cups is usually Pisces, but can be a Scorpio or Cancer person. The Devil is usually Capricorn. What we are seeing here is a suitor, like the blast from the past coming in, and it might be like the boyfriend or girlfriend from hell. And it might also be that you are tied to a certain pattern in your love life that's repeating itself relentlessly. 15, 1 plus 5 is also 6, the Lovers. So there's sometimes we are more tied to our lover than we would want to. Okay, so I call the Divine with Love and Light, and here we have also the King of Cups together with the Devil. So I'm thinking that something needs to be done to heal your heart, Virgo. It might be that you have, the King of Cups is about healing, the Devil is of course your shadow, so it's something in your shadow needs healing. It might be that you have a wounded soul part that needs your attention. Okay, it's like an ambulance. You need to be an ambulance. I call the 4 archangels in the 4 corners of the world. And here we see 2 of Pentacles and the King of Cups. So, of course, it might be someone multitasking also with both the Knight of Cups and the King of Cups. But I'm thinking you are trying to avoid pain by holding a straight face, keeping everything up, keeping the facade up, keeping up your busy work, your busy things. So you won't really feel how things are feeling in the matters of the heart and the ocean, the water here, but also your relationships. We have a little dog here coming with some sustenance, so that's a good thing. Might be messages coming through with the Knight of Cups as well. So I call the 6 elements, earth, wind, fire, water, spirit, and temperance card, ether, to join us here today and to give us a clear view reading for my dear Virgo. 4 of Cups also, and this King of Cups. The 14, the Alchemist card, is about experience, life experience other people's way of living, other people's cultures, your lover's way of thinking, and by that expanding yourself and getting much more aware. But it seems like you need to also get much more aware of what's going on in the inside of your body, my dear Virgo. So meditate, or yoga, mindfulness, meditation, in that order, because when you do yoga, it's much, you start to also feel your body. That's mindfulness, feeling it from the inside, being here and now. And after, you can have a really nice meditation. It's easy to meditate when you have done your yoga. So I want my dear Virgo to have love in their lives and to find themselves in loving relationships. I also want you to have creative success and to be able to walk on your highest path towards your highest destiny. So your cards is unwilling, so they have a certain order that they want to come in today, that's for sure. Okay, so it was done. a little acrobatic, and then it's done. So I will just tune into your reading for a few seconds. So Virgo, first part of March 2018, and this is your future, this is your now, and this is the past. So the past is probably February, and we have a Six of Pentacles here. Six of Pentacles is can be a windfall of money. It can also be friends acting like friends. It can also be like either giving or getting help. The darker side of Six of Pentacles is that you usually need to look at balance in your relationship when you get this card, because it might be that one is over functioning while the other person isn't functioning at all. Like this person is rich and wealthy and these are poor, and he needs to give of his wealth to make the other people less poor. That is an unbalanced society, and this might be what's going on also in your relationship and in your spiritual world, that you need to think of how much you are giving and how much you are receiving. We usually want to be on the shore end of this, so we usually give more than what we hope to receive, and that might make us over functioning, and it's making people in our surrounding hopelessly spoiled, so they can't function at all, and that makes all light shine upon you. You can be this graceful person giving things to the other people that's worthless, and to keep them in a worthless state might be very good for your ego, but it's not good for them. So with this card, it's like, don't give them fish, teach them how to fish. Put boundaries towards people, but also help them to create abundance for themselves, okay, without just giving it away to them. Here we have the Chariot, and I was thinking about the Chariot when I saw the Alchemist card. Alchemist is number 14. This is 777 is the Alchemist card, and it's kind of a little bit the same energy. This is Cancer and Sagittarius energy in the same Chariot, and they need to move in the same direction. Usually it's two horses, and those two horses can drag the chariot in different direction. And that's also with the Alchemist card. If you're not able to understand another person or take in their culture, you might think that it's your way that's the highway, and you forget about compromising, and you forget about trying to learn about another person's worldview and what's making them tick, and understand what it is that's making them make the choices that they do. So it's about awareness, mostly awareness of yourself, but also of another person, and create balance again between you two. And this is first part of Mars, this is second part of Mars, and we have a Two of Cups here. So Two of Cups is kind of soulmate union, and we have a High Priestess back here. She's also number 2, and the High Priest. So I'm thinking this is a very spiritual situation. We have the Three of Cups here as well. You have a unique relationship with someone or a group of people that's very beneficial for both Earth, but also your personal spiritual growth. And so it's very important that you take in this other person's energy and learn from them, and that they take in the energy from you and learn from you. So don't let this situation be lopsided, so only one will be learning and the other one won't know a thing, because that's making one like enlightened and the other one like ignorant. Okay. So, and the 5, 14, the Alchemist card, 1 + 4 is 5. So this is the library. The 14 Alchemist is the scientist that later makes books to put in said library. So it's society, what we have learned so far. And this is the one that's learning, that's sitting with all the antennas and getting all the knowledge. So it seems like something spiritual is making its way in your relationship, and you need to be sharp and balanced. Okay. So first card for you here, Virgo, it's the Star card. So again, with this spiritual energy. And the Star card is about becoming a dragon rider, becoming very brave, and not creating your will on earth, but the divine will on earth, giving up your will for the divine will. And the divine will can sometimes have, it can work in very, very mysterious ways, because, for example, you have your emotions. They're very tightly tied to memories from past lives, but also to the divine. So if you want to have a clear connection with the divine, you need to feel all your emotions. You can't let them be like in the standstill water. You can't hold them back or always try to keep a straight face, because that will prevent you from having this energy. And we can see the water is flowing here, which it also did in the Alchemist card, flowing from cup to cup, those two souls that was supposed to learn from one another. Here's the different souls. One is going straight for the water, and one is watering a plant and doing some use before it comes to the source again. So don't believe for one moment that your road is the right road. It might be also, it's the half of your road is the right road and half of the other person's road. Try to figure out which is what, so you will know what you need to take in and where you need to compromise and where you should not at all compromise, what they need to learn from you, what you need to learn from them. So it's a spiritual road, a spiritual contract. Keep on top of this, okay? So, see if I can straighten up that. Okay, and here we have the Judgment, and it's number 2 again, so it's connected to the Two of Cups and the High Priestess number 2. It's 20, but 2 plus 0 is 2. So Judgment is seeing things from above. It's what I said, the divine will above your will, and also being able to see things from a high moral, very divine perspective. I have been trying to teach you to love yourself, stand up for yourself, be a little bit more selfish, because many people are overly giving and they are overly empathic, and that's keeping you stuck in a certain pattern. But here it's kind of time to go back to the old moral codes and values that you have, but also with the knowledge that you now have, you have learned about being very stubbornly Virgo and having your boundaries and not taking crap, and that is also part of a spiritual development. You can't find one single enlightened person that someone could make a mock of or someone could push around. They just won't let it happen. They are so they are whole, they have healed themselves, so they can't be really touched. They have very, very firm boundaries, and you know this because when you encounter such a person, you feel this aura of respect. With the Judgment here, you are supposed to see things very clear and judge your situation together with probably another person's situation. So and it's again, one being the bigger person is easy for them, and the other one has a more hard time. We can see this going again. This is easy, straight to the source. I know exactly my homework. And the other one needs to water some plants before, because in either case we will have a desert. And this is one person that's very rich. The other persons have more struggle. They experience poverty or being helpless. So they experience more challenges, and therefore they will probably be more spiritual enlightened in the end. Like this person that have it so light all the time, it's so easy for them. They might not really learn a thing on their journey. It was a skateboard road, skateboard ride down the road. So, and then they were finished, so they didn't learn so much. But these other persons that struggle and take a detour and have a little bit of a nervous breakdown, they might really get to know a thing or two that can be useful. So it's this story. I probably told it to you before, but it doesn't want to leave my head, so I go with it. It's about a son. You can imagine this person, maybe a Grim Reaper. He was getting a big inheritance from his father, and he went out in the world as a semi grown up person to live his own life. But he went through a lot of struggles. He lost his father's inheritance, and eventually he came back to his father and said, well, I lost it all, and I'm sorry, with a bent head. And the father loved him more for it. So it's kind of the whole meaning to why we are here. We are here to experience and make mistakes and get ourselves dirty and fall in the mud with our nose first and in a pile of elephant poop or whatever. We are not supposed to have this skateboard ride down the road and everything was easy, because then we don't get any knowledge to put in our library. And God, that's the father in this case, or goddess, she wanted us to go out our father, our mother wanted us to go out and have this experience, because we are part of God. Small sprinkles, so we are actually experience ourselves, and that's why he was the son to the father. He was part of him. So you need to understand this, that you're not supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to fall, and you're supposed to hurt, and you're supposed to scrape your knee, and you're supposed to do a lot of mistakes and look foolish. And here you have the death card, so you also are supposed to have a lot of losses, lose things, as this son lost his father's inheritance. So it's something that you need to sacrifice. It might be your ego here, like spiritual ego, that you think that, well, you have this, you are on the high road, and God is with you, and it's not with these other creatures crawling around here, like beetles and roots of this plant and the flower, and this person being so down, and he's not with them. He's just with this person having like this skateboard experience. But it's not like that. It's not like that at all. Sacrifice, something needs to be sacrificed, and as I said, probably the spiritual ego, and to think that you know everything, even if you have had like a person in your life that was like this person from hell, they still are your shadow. So it's something with yourself that you haven't really experienced. So if you take in like half of what they know, and you give them half of what you know, then you will have grasp of your shadow, and you become more whole, and they will also become more whole, and together you can be all holy. So it's not about you being above and the other one being below. It's just you over functioning, and the other one is not functioning, maybe. Okay. And here we have the 10 of Cups. So this is what happens when we acknowledge this, that we're all part of the same big family. And what you're doing to the smallest of you, you're doing to yourself. And what you're doing to your boyfriend or girlfriend from hell, you're also doing to your shadow, the poor shadow that probably lies bleeding somewhere in a dark place, corner in your world. So that's who needs the ambulance. So be that ambulance for both yourself and this other person, not being a doormat or a codependent, but like a highly spiritual person. Be Buddha, fake Buddha until you make it, okay? And here you have the beautiful little Page of Pentacles. So the Page of Pentacles is you, how you came to this earth. You were seated here exactly as you were supposed to be, and now you might run around here with a lot of masks and trying to keep that bowl in roll like this. I was supposed to do something, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I tried to do the best I can. So you're trying to keep a good facade and a nice face and a smile also on that face, and look like you're having a blast, but you might not really have that, what we saw with the Judgment and Death card there. It's the moon here also in different phases, and here you have a star, there's a rainbow. So beautiful celestial events. So this little Page of Pentacles, it comes another story to mind, and I'm probably starting to boring you with these stories, but since they won't budge, so I will give them to you. This is the story of that said it was a king. It was not, yes, it was not a father in this case, it was a king, and he made a beautiful garden for himself, and he planted a variety of different plants. But when the garden was made, all the flowers and the trees and all the different like plants, they were hanging their head and not looking like their very best. They were maybe looking like this in the Death card. But there was one little dahlia that was blooming in its full bloom and wearing really, look really nice. And the king went forward to this dahlia and asked, so what's your secret? Why are you flowering like this when everyone else is budging their head? And the dahlia said, it's because if you planted me here, my king, I guess you wanted me exactly like this, because why the other plants were sulking with their head was because the rose wasn't tall and glorious like the oak tree. The oak tree was sad because it didn't smell as good as the rose, and so on. So no one wanted to be the thing that they were actually born to be, except for this little dahlia. So the the divine wants you to be the dahlia. They want you to be the rose. They want you to be the oak, or whatever you have been planted as, and not try to be someone else. Don't try to keep up the facade. Don't try to keep up with like keeping up the show or the charade. Try to be yourself, even if that means that you are not this holy skateboard rider. Okay, you might be one of those. It's still fine, and admit to your mistakes. That's going to sacrifice the ego well enough. Admit that you still love someone that's seemed to be coming from hell. Admit that you are not happy all the time. So to keep it real is very important. So you will be able to do the mission to why you were sent here in the first place. So that was in the past. It looks interesting. You have 3 major arcana cards, 17 star, 20 judgment, and 13 death. So this is processes about being this soul on earth that needs to go through a lot of wake-up calls to become the one that you truly are. And you need to understand that you're just one drop of many drops, and all came from the same source, so we are all the same. So something like this is what I'm seeing there. Okay, so this is in the now. That's the first part of March 2018. We have the 7 of Cups here. It came for Cancer as well, but it was here a little later. So with the 7 of Cups, it's like everything is catching up with you. Everything that you have tried to deal with like this, it's just like you drop the ball and everything is coming like with a flash flood, and all your past mistakes is like rubbed in your face. And also how everyone, like people have not loved you enough or respected you enough or gave you enough or left you in the cold or whatever. The 7 of Cups is like the primordial swamp. The first time you got wounded, it has become many, many times that you have been wounded like this, because it usually goes in circles until you have learned the full lap with this all. Eventually, this won't hurt you anymore. You will have done it so many times that you are kind of like, nah. Even if your lover walks out the door, you think, yeah, okay, I love him or her so much that I will let them live the life that's best for them. You have become like Lottered, or like a person with, not with tough skin, but you have learned that you have no control, and death and judgment usually teach you that, okay? So you become this, for every time you face a fear and you start to digest it, and you kind of go right into the lion's bin and say hello, and face this fear that you have, and work on it, and drive yourself crazy in the process probably. And when you do this, you will become more and more enlightened, more and more like this whole King of Cups kind of Buddha figure, a holy person. So this is why you are here. You're not here to avoid the difficult people or difficult scenarios or whatever. You're supposed to learn to handle them with grace. And that is the final lesson, like with the judgment and then the 21 world card. But sometimes, you do things in different ways. Sometimes you realize, oh, I'm codependent here to a heavy drinker, and whatever I say to him or her, any gender, it doesn't help. We have been in this marriage for 25 years, and still there's no change. There's drinking, a lot of destructive behavior. So then you might need to put an end to it, okay? You need to walk away. And the walking away might be what you have been fearing all along, the thing that you fear so much that the divine wants you to face, and just do it. So you didn't want to let go, you didn't want to give up, because what would happen when you give up, you will be faced with this. I'm back in the primordial swamp all alone. No one loves me. So you paid a big price to be loved. You stayed in this destructive situation for a long time, just to not to avoid this, to feel all alone and lost, like in the wilderness, drowned halfway in a swamp. I'm thinking about this movie, Never Ending Story. I watched it the other day with my son, and the hero went through to a swamp like this with his white horse, and everyone that was taken by this the sadness, the big sadness, would sink, and it also happened to this horse, and it's a very sad story. And the white horse is the sacrifice that you need to make. I have dreamt this many times. The white horse is like how you juggle, like how you try to have this, like be this enlightened being without really have experienced it. So I have seen this horse sink into swamps and fall down to ravines, and oh, everything has happened to this horse, I can assure you. And here you need to do the sacrifice and face what's behind door number 1, Page of Pentacles, and it's this sadness, what's came with you. And this what you have tried to keep this facade that, no, I don't feel like this. I never feel like this. I have a happy life. I live in a happy marriage. Everything is very happy. And I don't have this. But when you let the facade fall, and you realize, okay, I'm in a codependent relationship, for example. It can be any different things. I'm just taking one scenario here to give you an example. You can apply it on your own situation. And it hasn't given me happiness. And I have set so many boundaries, and this person has crossed them one by one. And now I need to leave this situation. This is real. This is all there is. Feeling like this, sad, mourning. It's the tsunami is already past. It just left like a mess behind, and that's one truth. Because later you will find yourself like, this is rather boring, and I can't find like another person to shackle up with, and I miss this person that was this drinker. And you might want to start to work on that again. So this is not the final answer. It's one answer. And it's one answer that you find in a certain time. And then you find another one in another time. And you need to try them all out, because they're all the way that will take you to this place that you want to be, back to source and to this amazing love. And you need to take different detours. And it's why you're here. So there's not one answer to things. There's a myriad of answers, and you need to try them all out, like having the same nightmare over and over again, trying different things out and seeing what's working for you in this situation. And eventually you will become this cool. So you will be like, oh, I'm alone again. I needed to part from my person, because the person was destructive, and they didn't learn anything by me holding them like this. So they didn't learn anything, and I had to leave them behind. And it's painful for me, but it's also what I believe is best. Using your judgment in this situation, this is what I believe in best in this situation. So you become much more cool when you face your fears. And you won't be scared for emotions anymore. You will just say, well, bring it on. I can deal with anything you bring on. Because everything will come. That's why we're here. Everything will have happened to your soul. That's why it can sometimes, when it's connected like this to time and eons, you will feel as it was yesterday, when something happened to you that was devastating. In this life, in early life, maybe childhood, also past lives, and you will feel it, because the time door is open. So when something happened that's similar, you will feel it. And also when kind of the stars and the moon and everything in its right position, you will feel it too, because it's like beams of energy being felt down, and you will feel like it was yesterday that you were imprisoned or drowned or lost someone or whatever happened to you. And the next card is the Fool. So you came here as the Fool, this pure soul, and you didn't know so much. You were a little baby and everything was happy. Usually we are very happy like this until we are 3 years old, and we realize that we are a single entity, that we are separated from people in our surrounding, and we think, are they for real, or is it only me that's real, and the other persons, maybe they are just like cartoons. So this is what happened when you're 3 years old. But to that time, we are this very aligned with our soul, and we are very together with other people. And that is also how we are when we are not here on earth, if we are not ending up in a ghost state. But if we return to the source, we will be very happy. But then will happen this separation. It's kind of like when you grow up and you go to college. You need to start to figure out things for yourself. And this is why we're here. And Earth is a very, very difficult planet to live on. It's hard to be separated, and that's why you have all this pain. But and you try to keep like this happy face still, even if it's more like painted on there, and it's not all that it's cracked up to be. And you meet a lot of challenges, and you fall on your nose, face down in the mud like this. And this is the circle of life. And it's only real brave souls that's coming here. Okay, just really brave souls. Here you can also see the sun. You have a star there, and it's mirrored in the water as a moon, which you have here, and you also have the moon there. So I think it's very emotional for you this time, Virgo. There's a lot of things going on, and it's major arcana sceneries, but you need to find yourself, the true you. And I think there's some kind of, I felt this with Cancer also, it's some kind of higher moral chivalry love behind all this. That you have tried everything different, jump through hoops and try to escape and try to do a lot of things, burn down the house, and you still miss the house. And even though whatever happens, it's like it's still there. Whatever is still there, it's you. So that is what is. And it can be sad sometimes because you might be a person that wants certain things, and you know how love should feel because you came from the source. And on earth it doesn't feel like that, but you can still have this high moral standards when it comes to love. You don't have to always chase small things that would put a happy smile on your face, even though there's a deeper truth, a deeper knowledge that you actually missed something that was really important. So the next card is the Six of Swords. So I guess the Fool have landed down in the swamp. This kind of situation here. I'll show you. So, and crawl there, up from there, from this little swamp with a ticking heart, and find something important down there. So you have find something, and it probably hurt to receive it, to find it, but it's in the box there. This woman is holding it, and you have the Hermit there in the boat, also the enlightened person. He has the sun symbol above his head, which also this star person has. So you can see they are enlightened. So you have learned something, you have seen something, and it's something precious that you found there in this swamp of immortal pain, like it's never going away, and it's in the box there. So it's you, I would say. It's the core of you that you have found. And this is a boat, and it's going on this water. So Six of Swords is your logic, and your heart is uniting. With your head something, with your heart something else, and both are uniting. You are understanding, okay, I'm loving a codependent alcoholic, and as far as I can see into the future, this is not going to change. And this is not the happiest scenario that I dreamt for myself, but this is what is, and this is who I love. So some kind of self-realization there. With the Six of Swords, we might still move away from this situation, and we still love them the rest of our lives, even though we know that they are they are doing destructive things with themselves, with their body, with their family. But this is the person I love. And to honor that is very, very good for your soul. And it's making connections, like those connections that you can never dream of. When you are this high moral in your love relationships and in your other relationships, it really means something. And it means something for a foreseeable amount of your future. It means something for your soul. It's not empty. So even if you waste your whole life waiting for someone stupid, it's still worth it. Okay. So I'm not saying that you should do this. You are in an abusive relationship. A person is doing crazy stuff, and you shouldn't stay with them. Of course you shouldn't. It's still this, you need to be the Buddha, okay? They wouldn't stay in abusive marriage, even if they got really well paid, because they don't care about money. But it's, the whole thing is about becoming the Buddha. And I think that the Buddhas of the olden days have been, they have been described as people that didn't have love in their lives, because it was like a minor thing. But we all know that love is the major thing in our lives. How much we want to deny it while we are juggling those two coins. Okay, and here you have the Five of Pentacles. So you also know that you are not fully in a situation which you really would like to have, or it's like you're not living the dream. You're rather living more the nightmare. Here is the Five of Coins, so it's being like cast out in the cold, and it's the cold is 10 of Cups. So you might have loved someone that cast you out, or you needed to sacrifice that person with a death, and it feels very lonely, and you feel separated from your own soul. It's maybe feels like you have separated yourself from your arm or your leg or whatever, your heart. So it's a sad story, but it's yours, and it's what you are realizing here with the Six of Swords. You're seeing things more clearly. Also, Cancer had the Five of Pentacles. So it's this time when people are starting to give consequences for other people's actions. And you might, leave the drunken person, and they are feeling left out in the cold. And it's just the natural course of events when we have put booze, for example, over the one that we love the most. Okay, usually an alcoholic is putting it before their wife, before their children, before their house, before their work, before their friends, everything. The bottle is the most important thing. Why I'm talking about bottles is just taken from the air. It's not saying anything about Virgos being totally alcoholic, but you have a lot of water. You had a lot of water initially. You also had the devil, so that's why I'm on this track with you. So this person is not in a state of chivalry love. They are not holding the love and the things that's most important highest. They are trying to just avoid to drop the ball and to fall into the swamp. And the swamp is of course their own emotions, which they are either trying to feel or not feel with alcohol. I haven't really figured this out with trying to not feel your emotions, because I don't drink alcohol that much myself because it tastes jacky. But when I have seen people drink a lot of alcohol, usually they are very emotional. So angry, sad, whatever, different emotions. So I don't think it works if you want to, cut off your emotions. But it might be an excuse to feel your emotions and to be like the person that breaks down and drop the balls. Yes, it might be a very good thing for a male person that isn't allowed to feel their feelings. Only case they are allowed to feel their feelings is when a football game doesn't go right, or when they are drinking. So it might be like that kind of excuse. And then you see how the strong pull towards knowing yourself and being allowed to be here, like a little bit broken down, but still you, and to actually get to know who you are. It's so important that a person will put the flask before everything, even though when he's old or she's old, this person will not understand the choices that they made, because when you're lying on your deathbed, it's the relationships that count, not how much liquor you were able to throw down your throat, or how much money you earned, or your worldly titles. It's going to mean nothing. But now people are in this scenario that they don't really realize what's worth something, because they are all consumed by their own pain, which they need to face. Also the pain of being thrown out to college. You were 3 years old and suddenly you're going to college. So it's like you miss something, you miss someone, you miss unity. You miss a part of your body, you miss a part of your heart. You might have your heart might have been broken many times in many different lifetimes, and you have left small pieces of your heart everywhere, and now it's scattered down the road with a lot of different people that you have loved, and you have lost them. Death and the Six of Swords, this person, it's kind of going over the river Styx to meet their maker, and their maker is of course themselves. We are circling back to you being God here, a spark of God, and you need to find yourself. So that is what it's all about. Maybe in the bottom of a bottle for some of you, or for some of those that you are dealing with, since I'm talking so much about this. But it might also be just like a person having a depression, or they might have like unlucky events happening. It's really the divine doing those unhappy events. So you will fall face down in the mud and have to deal with this. And here with the Three of Wands, you find yourself, you know, okay, I remember my goals now. This is my moral standard. This is my values. This is my dreams. This is what I want. This is what I don't want. So in this face down in the mud, you find something important. You realize again what's your goal, and you put out the right direction with a compass towards what you want. Even if it is like you acknowledge here, okay, I love the person that put the bottles above me, and that's what is. So you can't really do anything about it, and that's how your compass needle is pointing to. There's a lot of things backing up a person leaving a relationship like this. I'm not trying to persuade any of you to stay in bad marriage or bad relationship, not at all. I'm just trying to get you to see what's real. Maybe it's the real thing might be, I want to leave this situation and I'm never going to look back, but I'm staying out of pity for this person. It might be like that too. I'm just saying one scenario, and you can put it in your own life to fit. It's just you need to find it inside of you. I can't find it in I don't know how many like 10,000 Virgos. you have different scenarios, but I just trying for you to know where you can find yourself. It's in the mud there, and when you have found yourself, you need to be true. Where is your true north? There is where you want to go. And here are you going, and you keep it real. You know, you have your shadow with you, you have your light with you, you have your passion with you, everything is with you. You're not denying one part of yourself. And you might be dreaming of something hopeless, you want something that you will never ever have. But to keep on wanting that and keep on going in that direction, it's going to pay off. And that's what when you come back to your family in heaven, and you have something to show for it, like what you really did. You didn't waste time on, dating 10,000 people and still finding out in the end that this was this one person. And instead you wasted this time on all these other people. So you don't have to come up with your tail between your leg when you're going to meet your maker here. I'm not saying that you're going to die, Virgo. I think I had said this to you before, but it's just that death comes here, and you have the river Styx happening and the face in the mud. So I guess and your judgment day also. So I guess you are in a section of your life where you're valuing things like what you have done in the past and where you want to go in the future. So you need to keep it real, like what is really going to make you happy. And sometimes we go with what is familiar. We might think that is because we had a father that drank a lot. We get or parent, any gender that drank a lot. You might get a partner that drinks a lot. Because that's familiar, that feels home to you, and you might be very drawn to that home, but you're always thrown out of there because you were supposed to go to college. So you were supposed to do another experience, experience someone that was not alcoholic. Maybe you won't be so attracted by that person because it's something unfamiliar. It's something new that you can experience. So that can also be the truth for you, Virgo, that you need to experience something totally new, even though you don't feel really attracted to it. Just go out and experience that. Try it out. It can be a mistake. It doesn't matter. So it will be different for different people. Some will stay with their chivalry love and and realize after 10,000 attempts that there's no running away. And others will start to, maybe date that person that they would never have figured out being their next lover, but a person that's maybe nice and true and hold those codes to a chivalry love. And you know that they're good for you, but you want to go after that bad boy or the bad girl. But now you're deciding, I will go with this. This is what I want to have. And you experience something new. So that is sanity, to try a new thing instead of trying the old thing that drove you mad. So it's different roads for different Virgos. It depends on where you're at and what you have already tried and what you need to try in the future. It's just keep on trying. Try. It's a song. Okay, if I remember it, I will put it in the description box for you. It's something with try anyway. I hear the melody, but I don't hear the song lyrics, and I won't sing the melody because it's I will lose my face like you, Virgo. So here we have an Emperor. It's another major arcana card and comes underneath the star. Seven of Cups. So some is crawling in the mud, realizing that either that they themselves need to burn the old and become the one for themselves. She needed a hero, so she became one. He needed a hero, so he became one. You needed love, so you started to love yourself. That might be it. And some of you might realize that this other person is the one, because the Emperor is coming for the one. Okay? So, and you have Emperor, the Fool. In numerology, Fool is 22. 2 plus 2 is 4, Emperor. 13, 1 plus 3, 4. Emperor. So all this is talking about your divine masculinity. We also see the dog here. So it's like the divine masculinity in your life, in yourself, is going on a rampage. I feel like it's almost driving you crazy. Okay, it wants something from you, and nothing is ever good enough, is what I'm feeling. Like you're crawling down here in the mud and you're missing someone that you have a soul connection to. But if you go to that person, it's also bad. So you can't really make this entity within you really happy, is what I'm feeling. But it's fine. I saw with the 2 coins that you are juggling that there's this yin and yang thing that's going on with you. So it needs to battle out, like water and land needs to have battles sometimes to decide where the boundary is going to be. This is what's going on in your life. Your divine masculine wants more room. It wants to decide that no, hell, we are going back to that drinking, stupid, whatever, okay? So that's what the divine masculine wants. And you might, with your logic and heart, decided that, well, this is the only one we love. So it's still the conflict within you. Still it's going on. So it's not comfortable, okay? It's not feeling very comfortable anyway. No, it's very, very uncomfortable. And well, you're trying the best you can. You want to keep yourself intact, your soul intact. You don't want to be wasted like with the heart's pieces over the road to each and every one that you have been in. But this is the truth. This is what's the reality when we live life on earth. We are going to lose our hearts to left and right in many, many lifetimes. And we are going to go through hell and back. So you can't really control this. You can't keep your ship together. It's going to be ashes and ashes, dust to dust in the end anyway. So the experience is everything. The love that you feel is everything. All the other stuff is going to be just dust in the wind. And that might be what's so making you so sad with this. And you have 4 here. A little group of 4 with the 7 of Cups. So it's something that's lost there in this. It's the white horse, of course. It's lost there. Your ability to also be very positive and feel that this will become just fine. You might think that it will not be fine. And I can't trust the divine because they are making me jump through hoops. And I just want to live a nice life. So you might want to go against God and everything and, go and grab that life partner and settle down somewhere and not think twice about spiritual work again. So it's fine. That's also an experience. Okay, and here we have the Wheel of Fortune. So that's the kind of thing, you know, where you dream the same nightmare over and over again. So this is the time of the Judgment Day, and we are going to see how you managed. And it seems like you managed well when it comes to, I think you have learned boundaries, Virgo. You know now where your limits are. You're not going to lay wasted for someone anymore. But then you have the boundaries towards yourself. The deep boundaries towards yourself, and you can't really control what you feel, what you like, what you want. It's there. It doesn't matter how much boundaries you put on the outside when they're not really aligned with what's on the inside. And I truly don't have an answer for that today. What you're going to do with the inside that wants something that's totally impossible. The Wheel of Fortune here, the divine is speaking about miracles, and I think that miracles is the only thing that can pull you through here, that can give you this, what your heart so much desires but seems impossible. Okay, and here we have the Moon, so it's more pain. This is 7 of Cups, so it's kind of minor arcana Moon, and this is the major arcana Moon, and you see the box there again. You have been in this situation where you saw something from an above perspective and realized that this doesn't work, and you tried a new grip. You found yourself, your inner core. You made like peace between head and heart and say, okay, this is the road to go through. But still this, it's nothing you can do with your boundaries, as I said, to heal this. And it's a lot here. You know, you have, as I said, this is the road where your heart pieces is, and it's like a road of losses and poverty, and it will go on, unfortunately. And you see the small drops here, the small drops of different parts of God manifesting on earth and walking this road with you. So you're not the only one with your heart spread miles across the countries and the worlds and time, because it's spread over time also. So a lot of sadness that you feel right now will be out of worldly. You don't know where it's coming from. You might believe that you are sick or something wrong with you, or that you are going to go crazy, or maybe you are going to head into the wall. You might be scared because things are going on here. But what I see is like time being with very small gaps in between. So you're feeling things that haven't happened for, you know, 1,000,000 years, 10,000 years, 1,000 years, 100 years, and now you feel it all. It's like it's a spear pointing through all these events in your timeline, and you're touching everyone right now. So it's kind of some doorway or passageway. I told my Neptune dream for Cancer. You can check it out in my astrological video. I will pin the comment there, so you can read about my Neptune dream, because it was this about the double doorway. And I needed to be very awake and very aware, which you seem to be here, because you have really waken up, Virgo. It's painful, but you are awake, okay? And here it's going to be more pain, because it's the spear between all these lives that you have lived, and all these pieces of your heart that's scattered all over. I think you are to collect them, but you're going to feel each and every death, each and every pain-stricken thing that have happened to you here. And it might be overwhelming, okay? So it's you dropping the ball. So you now you can't keep up the face, because everything is catching up with you here. But it's just your heart wants to be pieced together, and you're becoming the Buddha. So it's no danger. It's just painful. Yes. Okay. So you see, it's the picture, and here you have the wolf also that you have here. It's a German Shepherd in this, and it comes from the death. So it's something with your masculinity there. It's probably the feminine side that has been tormented like this, but it's your masculine side that's going to piece it together, okay, by you protecting yourself, better boundaries, taking better care of yourself, aligning with yourself, deciding that, okay, I'm dying here, but it's fine. I feel it, so this is what is. So you're becoming like a cradle for yourself. So that's kind of the foundation stone to being enlightened, to be sure and rock solid, like with the lead bottom. So, and it's also a soulmate relationship here that's whispering through time. So I think you feel the strong pull and longing after something, and you don't really even know what it is. You might know what it is, but you're might also not know, because it can be a person that's living today, or they might not even be alive. But you're feeling a very strong pull, and you need to just, go with this, but try something different this time. See if you can try something different, not the same old story, not the same old choices. Try something that will be more beneficial for you. You have the wheel here, a second chance in time, and a doorway here, doorway there, your heart piece together. 3 This is the feminine. The you, like who you are for real behind the walls and masks. This is what shelter you, like a shell. This is what's inside a shell. So with a better shell, you will get less wounded, of course, but you will also have less life experience. So we need to use this with moderation. And this we need to be all in, and it will cost us dearly. But the prize that we win is ourselves, and this is why we're here. So don't be scared. Okay, and eventually you will learn that pain is not dangerous, that it's just messages, it's just like a book. The fates, yes, this really destiny's wings I'm hearing here. And this is 17, so it's the same as the star card. This is your destiny, it's why you're here. Wheel also. 17. Read this for you. And we see the stars also on this. Fate, karma, acceptance that there are things you cannot change, and knowing what those things are. The Serenity prayer sums up the meaning of this card. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. There are things in life you will never have control over. The condition brought on by evolution of the collective, by nature, and by your past experience may be fated, preordinate by spirit for a greater purpose you cannot understand in this lifetime. It may not be in your cards to understand why certain events occurred, but you can accept the mystery and work with what those events and your current circumstances have to teach you. This is the wisdom contained in the Serenity prayer. Other people are who they are. You can't change them. The challenge is to accept them as they are and not try to make them otherwise to suit you. This is a time to look at how you attempt to mold people to fit your view of how they should be, so you can remain in the relationship and avoid discomfort. What if who they are and whatever is happening between you and them in this situation is perfect from the perspective of spirit? Now it's time to accept what you cannot change, even if it means that you honor yourself, spirit, and the other person by moving on, loving unconditionally for each of us in our own journey, and we cannot direct that of another. Be aware that this relationship is indeed fated, and you are meant to evolve into a better version of yourself as a result of it. So it kind of sums up the whole reading, don't you think? This with you becoming the Buddha and unconditional love. Okay, so Wild Kuan Yin Oracle for my dear Virgos. You're working so hard. Pray to the east. Guardian watches over the west. Yes, I said something about this to Cancer, that they will go right. and you want to stay on the straight ahead road. So maybe Virgo, it's you that goes right. Okay, see here, 36. 36. They are all flying in this, so it's hard by the pictures to determine which card it is. Okay. I now see the ending and the beginning. It's the spear through the times. I watch and defend from past interference whilst I invite beautiful new worlds to form through my prayers, birthing them through my heart and the silent, unwavering light of my mind. Soon you shall be ready to make the crossing, to acknowledge the ending of this day and the dawn of the new day that I have begun to create for you. Don't be afraid of any ending now. That's the death card. All has been divinely ordained, and all things happen to that my love can prevail. Ending allow for fresh starts. Focus on letting go now and being firm in your decisions. Have courage. Trust yourself. You can love even more in the letting go than you did while holding on. Be patient and accept where you are now in the process of endings. All will happen soon enough. I am helping you in all ways. Trust me and the new day I bring forth. So many of you will see that that there's an end of the rope with your relationship, and that you have done all that you could for now. And by continuing it, it's kind of you're forcing something on your partner that they obviously doesn't want. So maybe it's time to start also to listen to, if the partner puts something else above you all the time, you're probably not the most important person in their lives. And if the relationship is lopsided, you might want to, just yield to that. Okay, this person doesn't love me enough. We have the King of Cups underneath here. To continue this relationship. So this might also be for some of you Virgos, that you just acknowledge what is and let this person be free to meet the one that's for them, instead of you living your lives together in misery. Okay, so that was a cheerful last message for you, Virgo. What I see for all of you is that you are piecing together your heart again. So you're going to be whole, and that's very good news, even if it's painful to reach to that point, because you need to go through this, what you are experiencing now, but eventually you will get there, and this heart will be pieced together again. Okay, so I hope this helped. I want you all to take really good care, and I welcome you back to my mid-March reading that I will perform in the beginning of March. Okay, bye bye.